Hello and welcome to the channel. It is I, your lovely host, Mr. J, the Joker voice, and this is my Funhouse, where we talk pop culture, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books, who knows, whatever my little mind can think up. As I said before, my name is the Joker voice, also known as Chuck Fisher, and you'll hear Mr. J come in and out throughout the video, talking about little fun facts here and there. Before we get started, I need to give out some shout outs to some people who have really inspired me to come on this journey. This is day one, so I don't have all the bells and whistles yet, but it's coming. So first people I need to thank. I need to thank the crew, Alex, Vader, Jude, even you, Kadish, over at Salty Nerd Podcast. Done a lot of stuff for them, worked with them in a couple things, and they've really kind of re-sparked this little thing inside me to want to start doing this kind of thing. Also, Tom and Andre at Midnight's Edge. If you haven't watched their channel, please go do that. Pop culture breakdowns all over the place, and it is absolutely one of the best channels on YouTube right now. So I definitely encourage you to go check them out. I'm going to leave links to both their sites down in the description below. So go give them a look-see. And also, I've got a couple things I want to say here. We're going to do a breakdown of episode 1 of our new series from Disney Plus, Book of Boba Fett. Yes, figure this is a good place to start. Star Wars is my first love, so why not start there? And stick around till the end. I've got a couple little fun facts here and there, or as we call them here, Funhouse facts. So let's get started, as Mr. J would say, and on with the show. So, we start off in Jabba's palace, obviously, and we see a Bacta tank where Boba Fett is inside, and this Bacta treatment he's doing is triggering some past memories. We get this beautiful shot of Kamino, where there's Slave One on one of the landing platforms. Yes, it is still Slave One. If you don't like that name, tough titties, it's Slave One. Then we get we do a quick cut to the Battle of Geonosis, the aftermath of it, where a young Boba Fett is picking up his father's helmet, Jango Fett. And I think this might be some extra footage from Attack of the Clones, because that really looks like Daniel Logan, as from the scene where he's holding Jango's helmet. Very cool. Then, holy crap, we are inside the stomach of the Sarlacc. Whoa! And that is just, it's dark, it's gross, and makes a lot of sense that it would be pitch black. There's no light source inside your stomach. So Boba Fett is turning on his light and sees a dead stormtrooper that's being digested, and he makes himself over there, pulls out the oxygen tube and has to breathe through it because there's no oxygen in your stomach either. It's really cool thing. Punches his hand through the stomach wall, burns a hole through the Sarlacc. He's obviously killed this thing. Then we get this hand coming out of the sand and this grimy, crawling, all the goop and gugh and sand and acid and yuck just all over it. It was gorgeous. And passes out from just that ordeal to get out of there. Then those stinking Jawas come and just pick apart all his armor, and the guy just got out of a Sarlacc pit. Give the guy a break, man. Come on. But this also explains how Boba Fett lost his armor and how Cobb Vanth got it in episode 1 of Mando season 2. We see that these are the same Jawas. Okay. Then he gets, if that wasn't enough, gets picked up and taken as a slave by a tribe of Tusken Raiders. And you're talking, you acid all over your body, and now you got sand whipping across it. God, give the guy a ride. Don't drag him. That was mean. Tusken Raiders. You're mean. Oh. And then, cut. Book of Boba Fett. Title: Stranger in a Strange Land. And for our first Funhouse fact of the day, the title of this episode, Stranger in a Strange Land, is taken from a 1961 sci-fi novel of the same title, written by Robert Heinlein. Fun fact, are we going to, every chapter we're going to have the title of a famous sci-fi novel? Ooh, let's find out. Tune in next week and we'll see. Okay, back to present time. Fennec Shand wakes him up. It's time to meet all the parts of the city that are going to pay tribute to the new crime lord. So first we get a Aqualish. For those of you who had the old Kenner Star Wars toys, that's the Walrus Man. The same species that didn't like Luke Skywalker. Didn't like him. And so got his arm cut off for it. Not really easy to listen to, thus Boba says they need to get a protocol droid. Translate. Okay. Makes sense. Then next we have a Trandoshan who comes in, and apparently Boba Fett used to work for this Trandoshan, which is kind of weird. Roles being reversed. And the Trandoshan gives his gift of tribute, which, yes, folks, that is the pelt of a Wookiee. Funhouse fact number 2. Trandoshans were known for kidnapping Wookiees and hunting them for sport. Just thought you'd like to know. Then we get the representative of the mayor of Mos Espa, where they're at. And this guy I don't like. I don't like him. He's slimy, kind of creepy. Reminds me of every beta male customer who just wants, I don't want to offend anybody. I don't like him. Don't like him at all. Apparently there's some confusion. The mayor was supposed to show up, which is an insult to the new crime lord. And then these representative is now expecting payment from Boba to the mayor. That's not how business is done in the crime syndicates. So obviously there's now been a seed that there's going to be a struggle for power. And the representative leaves with a very soft-spoken, but very much a threat, to where Boba says, we need to keep an eye on that one. And Fennec rightly says she's a sniper. I keep my eye on everyone. So we go from there. Now we see this beautiful landscape shot of Mos Espa, where it's the city's in this valley, but there's stuff all on the top of the valley. So it's like this crater and city around the crater, and then the main city inside the crater. And we're walking across the streets of Mos Espa, where Fennec tells Boba that he really should be carried. It's a symbol of power, of status. And Boba's like, I walk. I'm not going to be some useless nobleman. And I think this is a really interesting character part where Boba sees himself as more of a man of the people and not above everybody. And so then we think we're going to see the mayor. We're actually going into the sanctuary, which is a casino, tavern, brothel, possibly. You got Twilix in there, so probably. As we walk in, we see or what's the name of that? Ortolan, a blue Ortolan. Is that Max Rebo? Could be. I mean, if Bib Fortuna got out of the sail barge, I'm assuming Max could as well, so we'll go with that. And then we also, as we're panning the room, we see a droid that's dealing cards. Fun fact number 3. That model of droid is an RX series droid. And that particular one was used in the original design and concept for the Disney attraction Star Tours. Little fun fact there. So, we're then met with Garza Whip, who is played by Jennifer Beals. She's a Twi'lek, and she is the owner / madam of this establishment. And she's there to talk. Boba's there to talk business. She assumed this is going to take a while. would you want your Gamorrean guards hosed down and fed? Basically, do you want your horses watered? And Boba's like, no, we're just going to talk right here. I'm just going to let you know your business will continue to thrive under my watchful eye, and we're going to be in this mutual partnership together. To which Garza Whip then returns Fennec and Boba's helmets, and inside Boba's got a little coinage in there. A little something, something. To which Fennec says, yours looks shinier than mine does. His has shiny things in it. So then we're going back out in the streets, and Fennec and Boba are talking about how they're going to keep Jabba's crime empire together, since Jabba had vessels and probably a lot of enemies around all parts of the galaxy, and they need to make the rounds to keep this whole ship afloat. And Fennec wants to kind of do it herself because Jabba never left the palace, and Boba, again, with a different type of mindset of how to run this thing. Jabba ruled through fear. I'm going to run with respect. I'm going to rule with respect. Showing that Boba's taking this thing in a different direction, where he's not going to just be this intimidating force. He's intimidating, but he's not going to torture. He's not going to kill people unless he probably has to. He's not going to torture people, and he's going to be a benevolent crime lord. We'll see how that works out. We are then attacked by this group of street thugs. Now, are these street thugs sent by the mayor of Mos Espa, or because of their outfits, they're all wearing black and red? Is this potentially Crimson Dawn, members of Crimson Dawn, sent to try and already seize the power vacuum that was left when Jabba and now Bib, who Boba killed, to take this position? Boba's new Gamorrean guards, who he decided not to torture in a previous scene, really come through and get Boba and Fennec out of a jam. Boba then disintegrates one of them. No disintegration, unless it's necessary. And tells Fennec that he needs one of them alive. So then we have a parkour scene going through the rooftops of Mos Espa. And Boba is injured, and the Gamorreans have to take him back to Jabba's palace. Fennec does get one of them and is going to be bringing him back alive, and I'm assuming the next episode we're going to get his interrogation. Boba gets put back into the bacta tank, and the memories restart again, where one of the Tusken tribe members takes him and a Rodian prisoner out into the desert. The person who's taking them is obviously a younger Tusken, probably the offspring of the chief of this tribe, and just kind of showing who he is in relation to him. And they come across this moisture farm where a group of Niktos are raiding the homestead. I don't think it's the homestead. I don't think it's the same homestead as the Skywalker homestead. Probably just the same build of place. It's probably a little more practical. But then they start, the young Tusken wants them to start digging for those water pods that we saw in Mando Season 2, Episode 1, where the Tuskens drink from those water pods. The Rodian decides he finds a few, Boba finds a few. The Rodian digs a little too deep, and we come across this 6-legged sand creature. I have no idea what that was. I've looked at quite a few reaction channels, and no one seems to know what it is either. So if anyone does know, please put that down in the comments so we can give this creature an actual name. The Rodian gets killed, and as the young Tusken is being attacked, Boba comes from behind and strangles the creature. And we then get a bit of the score of Ludwig's Boba Fett theme as he's standing victorious and holds that chain. And we are then have a triumphant return back to the Tusken village, where Boba has now gained respect from the tribal leaders and will be continuing on with them. And this is where we're going to see how he survived and the cloak, and we're going to see how he got these, the weapons he had, the cycler rifle and the gaffy stick that we saw in Mando's season 2. So that's the end of the episode. That's where the episode ends. And for the most part, I really enjoyed this episode. I like it has a very much of a spaghetti western feel, but also a bit of a mob feel, like almost a Godfather type of feel. If I have to give one critique, the fight scene felt was a little clumsy, but that's just me. But yeah, I like where this is going. I have been hearing rumors we're gonna get cameos throughout there. Who would you like to see? I mean, I think we're gonna see Dengar. We're gonna see Bosk. I've heard we're gonna get a live action Cad Bane. That would be really cool. And I heard there might be another cameo from Boba Fett's past, Han Solo, which would be awesome as well. So yeah, that's episode 1, and we're gonna see where we're gonna be going for next week. And I said we got some other stuff to talk about, so we're gonna do that in just a second here. I also thought that was interesting that as we see and also the ending for the end credits, how they continue with the tradition that Mando did, showing the concept art, which some of that stuff is absolutely gorgeous. I would hang that stuff on my wall, without a doubt. Some of that stuff is amazing. It is so cool. So we're going through the normal credits, directed by Robert Rodriguez, who, if you don't know anything he has done in the past, El Mariachi, Desperado, From Dusk Till Dawn, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, The Faculty, did a scene from the movie 4 Rooms. Great director. Written by Jon Favreau, who, let's just say, man has started the MCU, started the Mandalorian, and is just on fire right now. Everything he's doing right now is turning to gold. So wonderful job, John. Keep it up. Executive producers, Dave Filoni, of course, Jon Favreau. Disney Plus showed also executive producer Kathleen Kennedy and her little PGA, that's Producers Guild of America. If you go to the fandom site, Wikipedia, her name's not listed. Interesting. Anyway, that's for the YouTube conspiracy theorists. I'm not one of those yet. So that's the episode. I also want to talk about one more thing really quick before we get out of here. As some of you may have noticed, I do have a stutter. Yes, I am a stutterer, and been stuttering all my life. It's just a part of me now, and everything I've had to do, and this is something new, but it's not something I've never not done. I've always talked my entire life. Every job I've had, I've done sales, teacher, coach. I'm a bartender right now. I've worked with the public at all times. I've always had to talk. And if there's anyone out there who has a speech impediment or a stutter or something of that nature, and you feel intimidated that this is something you can't do, you can do it. You have a voice, and your voice is just as important to hear as anyone else's. And I want you to know this. And please don't let anyone tell you that you shouldn't do it because you stutter, or that you should just be quiet. No. Keep talking. Keep talking. And fun fact, one more time. One of the greatest actors of our day, and one of the greatest voices in all of pop culture, the voice of Darth Vader himself, James Earl Jones, is a stutterer. Keep that in mind, guys. So, if you like the video, smash the like button, drop a comment, leave a like, click ring the bell, because again, we're starting brand new. We need to start building this algorithm so we can start becoming getting a little more traction here. And yeah, have fun, guys. Thanks for stopping by. And I know it's tomorrow's New Year's Eve. For gosh sakes, guys, if you're gonna go out, get an Uber, get a Lyft. If you're headed home, don't drink and drive. Be safe, have fun, and as Mr. J always says, always keep a smile on your face. Toodles!